Hello everybody, this is Sab in Paris, ready to relax a little bit. It's been a pretty hectic day. I think I've been on the internet more than I've been off it. How are you doing? This is me tonight, Sab in Paris, and welcome to my little show. This is the little show that goes with the Creative Blog and Article Writing Group, and this is a sister group for the Creative Smartphone Photography Group, and it's another sister group, or maybe a brother group, I don't know, to the Infinite Creativity Now group. That's my little universe. Well, almost, because there's another one, the terrible, I was going to say twin, that's not it, the Today's the Day group, and I've got this kind of little set of four, count them, four Facebook groups, which are raging at the moment, except for this one. So this is me talking to myself about my latest writing. It will soon develop into something quite different. Not only will I hope more people, lots of people will come and start talking about writing and sharing their writing, be it articles, poetry, memes, short stories, any of that is going to be fine here. But for the moment, it's just me. And I'm okay with that. You know, I'm all right. I'm talking to my computer anyway, whether there's a million people watching or none. So that doesn't really matter at all. So for the time being, before there are lots of people, I share my writing from the week. And I talk about it. I talk to anybody who wants to watch and ask me questions. It would be really nice if you did ask me questions, because I'm all on my own. And if you've got stuff to share with me, please do. And at some point, I hope sooner rather than later, I will be sharing all sorts of wild and wonderful bits of English. I'm thinking of revamping an English site that I had for the weird and wonderful world of English, which is just completely crazy. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so that's basically how it works. Relax, you know, bring your words if you want. Otherwise, just listen to mine. I've got 𝗪𝗫𝗓. Hi, 𝗪𝗫𝗓. You must be so sick of seeing my face. My God. Anyway, writing is far scarier than photography, wouldn't you say? Well, it depends what you mean by scary. What do you mean by scary? Putting yourself out there? Yeah, because when you photograph something, you're photographing something else. Whereas when you're writing, you're photographing the inside of you and showing it to the world. You could photograph something heavy or something nasty or something, you know, powerful, as I think you did earlier today. But people will still look at the image. Whereas when they look at your words, it's like a direct link to your, you know, and you can't really get away with it. You know, if you write something, even if you're writing I've noticed there's a strange difference between writing stories, I think, and writing poetry. You write a story, people know it's fiction, and they don't necessarily associate it with you as a person or a writer or a human being or someone who's sort of, you know, sentient soul. But if you write a poem, it's you putting yourself out there. It's really, you know, you can't escape the fact that that is what I wanted to show people, and it's normally extremely personal. And then in poetry, you know, it's like those sort of cheesy memes that you see on the internet where people are just giving feel-good stuff all the time. You know, it's always, you know, love each other and all, you know, fine. Of course, it's nice. But wow, where is the thing that grabs you by the throat and just, you know, where's the thing that disturbs you? Where's the thing that makes you think twice? All these feel-good stuff. And maybe it's just the people, the groups I'm in. But sometimes I need something a little bit edgier, you know, a bit dodgier, a bit scarier. So yeah, words are the way to go, I think, if you want to really expose yourself, for sure. You're not sick of me. Scary in the sense that you show your soul. Exactly. Yeah, well, scary, but also even better, because that's what we, in a way, that's what we want, isn't it? We want to show people more of us than the social facades. So yeah. Okay, so nice to have you here until you go to sleep, fall asleep, or go to bed. So I'm just going to go through my latest stuff and see what happens. So this is the group, and this is my latest stuff. It's linked to my photographs, so I will probably talk a bit about the photographs as well. But always think back to what inspires you. For me, often photographs inspire me, but I'm not just writing about the photograph. I'm writing about something that the photograph inspires, which could be, quite deep and meaningful, or it could be quite trivial or funny. It doesn't really matter. And that's what the grid looks like with the text. And the last 4 are the ones I'll talk about, because those are this one, this one, this one, this one, and these 3 here, which makes up a week of new photographs and a week of new writing. And it's such an adventure, because I never know what is going to come out of my head. Isn't it incredible? I don't know how you do it, Daphne or anyone. 𝗪𝗫𝗘𝗓. Hi, 𝗪𝗫𝗘𝗓. She's saying hi. Hello. 𝗪𝗫𝗘𝗓, I hope you understand, some of what I'm saying. And you write as well, 𝗪𝗫𝗘𝗓. I know you do. And you write when you write, even though it's translated into English, I know it's really deep stuff. And Despina says, how do you add text to the photos? Tell me your secret. Oh, it's not a secret. It's just a program where you can, add text to photos. You can put a layer, and it's a text layer, and then you type the text. It's like a Photoshop, but it's not Photoshop. It's a free version of Photoshop. And yeah. So those are the last 7. So let me have a look at some of these and see what happened. This is a little angel on a church up in Montmartre. It's very sweet. It's quite high up. You don't necessarily see it unless someone points it out to you. This is why looking up is always a good thing to do, because you never know what you're going to see. So I walk around like this or like this and bang into people and walk into shit and things like that. But at least I see things like this angel. This has taken on this smartphone. So, it was high up. It's quite a small thing. But the details are where the nice bits are. Anyway, it's not about photography. From the first, I wonder if I can make this a little bit bigger. I might not be able to. It's actually making it smaller. I'm making the page bigger. It's making the image smaller. Hello. Okay. From the 1st to 21st September, I'm taking part in an online writing journey. Except I've only done the first 4 days. But, it's September 4th, and these are my first words. So calling my efforts half-hearted would be being generous. Today, that is half a week ago, we're supposed to write about a time we were uncertain and took action anyway. Oh, wow. I've got 978 examples in the same number of days of when I was uncertain and took action anyway. It's like that every day when I start to write. I don't know what I'm going to write. I'm not sure what I should write. Today, I was going to write about a post which has been painted in a style of Van Gogh, and I ended up talking about something completely different. It's the last one I'll show you today. So we're supposed to write, this is easier than I thought. I could write about any day. So then we're supposed to post 1 sentence. What about you guys? How have you been, if you're on the challenge, are you finding it easy? I've kind of copped out of writing a text. I write too many texts elsewhere. I decided to kind of do memes. It's just easier, and it gives me something that I can add to my collection of memes. And then I'm never one for people imposing things upon me. It's quite difficult for me. So I get inspired by the things, but I don't always do what they ask. So we're supposed to post 1 sentence, if we wish, in the group as an example of where a simple prompt can lead. So far, not so good. I should pray that a gaggle of, this became the sentence, so I tried to make it a bit fancier. So far, not so good. Should I plead? Should I pray that a gaggle of syllables flees my way, or just hit the bar? And the bar is supposed to rhyme with far. So far, not so good. Should I plead? Should I pray that a gaggle of syllables flees my way, or just hit the bar? Either way, that sentence will have to do. And you know what? I think I'll post it on top of this picture in keeping with the spirit of When Lady Eiffel Smiles, and see what happens. Hold those hands clasped. This is a clasp, actually. They're not clasped. This is clasped, but never mind. Little angel, I think I'll need them. So this little angel inspired me. Someone said it's a boy. Are all angels boys? I didn't know that. Anyway, your photos have grown more profound after lockdown. Do you think so? I've said it before. And I'll say it again. But you keep bringing more depth to everything. Do I? I've said it before. You sound like my mother. I've told you before. Well, what is the quest of the writer? I don't know if it's necessarily to go deeper and deeper. It might be to go simpler and simpler, because you can get lost in complexity. And sometimes the reason I like memes, even though someone said to me, wrote somewhere, I don't like the idea of memes, and I agree with them. I hate memes, but I love what you have to do. I mean, I hate the cliched ones, the cliched photographs with cliched words on top. But I do love the idea of trying to write the most powerful message in the least words possible. That's good discipline. And I think that's what maybe we should be aiming for. Like the Japanese poetry, haiku, it's about 7 words or something, or, you know, a few syllables. To be honest, it's not that, it's kind of deep. You know, if you say, a tree in the wind, oh my God, I've lost my keys, there goes a bird flying or something. You know, it's capturing moments in time. That's fine. It's not, it's a kind of, yeah, it's that, capturing moments in time. You can't say it's really profound poetry as such. It's simplicity, capturing moments. But anyway, maybe that's a little too simple, but for me. But you can get too complex as well. And looking at some of my texts, it's pretty complex, which is why I've the counterbalance to the texts that I do each day are the memes. So there's that. So if they're getting more profound after lockdown, then they are to you. I don't know if they are or not. I just do my thing. And I write every day in that challenge, but I could write more than every day, or write more. Well, you know, you do what you can. You do what feels right. If you say I could write more, but you're not writing more, then maybe you actually can't, because otherwise you would, or you don't want to. I mean, I could write more. I've got a whole website, a new website called 𝗪𝗟𝗃.com. It's waiting for my articles, and I can't find the time or the inclination. I'm choosing, aren't I? I'm choosing to do one thing and not another. So why do we do that? There must be some reason. You know, you say I could write more. What do you mean? Why don't you? I write something else right now and use the challenge as inspiration. Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing, you know. I feed off stuff. So your stuff, other people's stuff, the challenge where they give you prompts to feed into my stuff. The stuff that people want to hear is stuff which is personal to the writer, I think. So like on my, I've started writing daily little creativity things. And I must admit, they're kind of impersonal. I'm wondering if they shouldn't be a little bit more personal. But anyway, you know, what I want to read from a writer is to see the writer's soul. If it's an informative article, fine, great. But I still want to have examples from the writer. Otherwise, I could look it up on Wikipedia. So, great. Here's another one. This one was Amy Winehouse on stamps. Pretty cool new street art I discovered. There's something infinitely more powerful about an artwork when it's half hanging off an urban facade in tatters. Ephemera incarnate, mortality untamed. It's strange to come across dozens of British stamps on a wall in Montmartre. But then again, what isn't strange on walls in the good old 18th these days? Long gone are the times I'd head down to the market on a Saturday morning to buy a new set of mint beauties to add to my meager collection. I'm talking about the stamps. Do folks still hoard such things? These standard issues seem to be 10 a penny in any case. I found my old stamp albums on a trip back to the UK one year. Row upon row of precious tweezer treasures, coloured by the years and acid from cheap plastic pockets. There's something tragically beautiful when a pure soul is reduced to infinitesimal shreds of paper, whispers of sound. As long as they've lived, as long as they've touched lives, that's what matters in the end. That's what counts in the end. Yeah, bit of a mishmash there. I found it touching that the poster of Amy Winehouse on these stamps, which is quite an original thing. I haven't seen that sort of artwork before. These people pop up and then they disappear in Paris. I want to be one of them, by the way. It's in tatters. The artwork is in tatters, and she's in tatters. In the artwork and in real life, she's in tatters. You know, she didn't make it. Well, she made it to the end of the life that she led, without putting any sort of woo-woo stuff on it. She came, she did her thing, and she went. And her thing touched a lot of people with her voice and maybe with her story. So it's a little bit tragic. And when you see an artwork of someone which is also in a very bad state, it kind of increases the message. So yeah, that's a nice one. That's I like that chronicle. I think it's a powerful one. And then leaves, good old leaves. I'll show you what it looks like. The picture itself, it's a rather nice picture. It's very simple, isn't it? You're walking along. Oh, look, leaves in the gutter. Big deal. Most people are worrying about getting wet or getting home. And I'm worried about getting a picture of wet leaves in a gutter. And that's what I got. And the text that came out of that was, again, I'm discovering my own writing. That's one of the wonderful things about writing. It's almost like a letter to yourself. You write it one day, you look at it a few days later, and it tells you things about yourself. It tells you about what you were doing that day, of course, but it tells you about what you were thinking and stuff. I saw a meme offered to me, my own, by Facebook today from 2 years ago. And I looked at it and I thought, wow, was I thinking that 2 years ago? That's kind of cool. It's in the Infinite Creativity Now group, if you want to see that meme. What does posterity look for you, Seb? What does posterity? Posterity means looking back. Well, kind of that, looking back. You know, the thing is to not regret your past. I think that's an important thing. And it's easy to do. I don't really think the past or the future exists, and yet we carry it with us in the present. We seem to carry what we've lived with us in the present. And it kind of feels like it makes us who we are. So that's one of the reasons I try to produce so much. I'm trying to leave a mark. I know it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really make a difference. But it's fun. It's a fun way to live, thinking that I'm leaving something. I will leave something for my kids, for example. You know, one day they might discover all my writings and my photographs and look back and think, oh, that guy, you know, he did that. Like I've got a grandson who I never see because I'm on difficult terms with my daughter. So he's coming on to 4 or 5 now, and I've seen him about twice. And there's this little guy growing up, not knowing me. And I'm his only granddad, and his grandmother, my ex, is his only grandmother because he hasn't got them on the other side. And time's going by, and you know, we're not getting back in touch. I'm not seeing him. I'm not part of his life. And it's sad. If you want to, you know, I try not to be sad about stuff, but it's a bit sad. So every day I'm trying to push myself towards getting a contact with him so that, you know, I don't want him to one day discover, you know, this granddad, he never knew, who then died. And maybe one day he'll realize that I wrote a fucking ton of stuff, you know, thousands and thousands of photographs, every single photograph meaning something deep to me. And I'd rather he didn't discover that in retrospect and think, well, I wish I'd known him. So I'm leaving something in these words. It's a kind of immortality. But I think I've got to move. It's got to be in the present as well. I've got to live in the present. And so I'm going to try and get in touch with him, I'm going to send him a piece of artwork and say it's for him, We all have these things in life, don't we? Yaroska's talking about Amy Winehouse. She's my favorite singer. Sometimes I'm very intense, as she was. Yeah. People who put themselves in the public eye, they're often very important for other people who would like to express themselves as they do, but they aren't able to. Posterity is the legacy you leave behind. Well, I think it's wonderful that we create images, we create words. We have to make sure that we're enjoying our present moments. And it helps us find meaning when we create photographs, writing about them, thinking about them, sharing them. It helps us find meaning, and it helps us come closer to others, It gives us connection, gives us a reason, an excuse to connect, which is a beautiful thing. If you had 1 week to live, what would you do with your grandson? You're trying to really, really get me, by the throat today, aren't you? Oh my God. You're making me feel like I've got to contact him very, very soon and send him something. Wow. I've got this idea. I've got about 9 members of family. It's a very small family. And I'm thinking I'll take one of my puzzles, one of my beautiful puzzles that I like, and I'll split it into 9 envelopes, and I'll send one to each of the 9 members of my family. Basically, such a small family. My mother, father, daughter, son, grandson, mother of my daughter, mother of my son, maybe one for me, and maybe one for a new member of the family who will come along at some point, something like that. So that's my kind of idea. I plan my own funeral very artistically, so I don't see why I shouldn't do something like that as well. And send one of these to each of them and say, this at least will bring us together. This will unite us, even in one small way, despite all the differences and stuff. This means that we are together in this little picture. So yeah, that question is a pretty heavy one, but it's a really important one. I've got to send them. I'll send him something. I'll send him something. Yes, you do. Like you push us to create. I push you to connect. Yeah. Connect. Yeah, I've adopted creativity. I've adopted it as my thing. It's only a thing. It's not even a thing. It's just you've got to create something. So I encourage people to create because I think it helps us be more human. It helps us appreciate our lives, the human experience more. And then there's this guy. I realized that the picture is with a book, which is a book by a guy who is on the photography 5-day challenge right now. And he's sending in loads of pictures, and he wrote this book. And this guy is a bit like me, sort of philosophizes about, taking pictures and what it all means and stuff. Quite a lot of writing in there with the odd sort of black and white picture. So yeah, that's funny that he sent that to me. And so I took a picture of me with it, because it's the message, 25 lessons I've learned about photography crossed out life, is kind of what I do as well. I learn lessons and try to pass them on in an artistic way. From artistic sources, pass them on in an artistic way. And what did I say about this? Don't know, can't remember. It was 3 days ago now. And Despina, all these people you keep popping up, Angela, Vivienne, you seem to have a group. I think you're very good friends with them all. There's some relationship there. You seem to be surrounded by these powerfully enthusiastic and creative and deep and meaningful people. It's wonderful. Thank you for sharing them with me. All snaps capture a moment frozen in time. And from this viewpoint, the greatest sporting feat, the most majestic mountain range, and the cheesiest grin are indistinguishable. They're all frozen moments in time. As my friend Lorenzo suggests, there are lessons to be learnt from this curious art of ours. 25 to be precise, at least in his book of rather poignant essays on chasing the perfect picture, called 25 Lessons I've Learned About Photography, No Life. I was going to put something in this article alluding to my 25 years plus in Paris, but I thought of it afterwards and forgot. I didn't have space. I reviewed it because in writing, echoes and repetitions are really powerful tools. So when I realized afterwards, I could have said that I was in Paris for 25 years to link him with the 25 lessons he's learned. That would have been a nice writing device to make the article stronger, but I couldn't be bothered. I reviewed it for an old blog, and what hasn't been written about photography now, and what's the point of continuing to do so, as I am here, day after day, in one way or another? Well, the answer is simple. Nothing has been written about photography on this day, as seen from my point of view, by me. Our lives are unique, our vision incomparable, and so I snap. This often comes up for me. It seems like there's so much writing, there's so much stuff out there. I sometimes think, what's the point? Write an article on any topic, give me any topic, bam, there are 1,000 articles on it already. So we don't have a choice. We have to make it personal. And as soon as you make it personal, it's okay. I can write an article on time management, or creativity, or the streets of Paris. Do you think people have written about the streets of Paris before? Maybe. Do you think people have written about leaving their lives in another country, coming to the capital of France and having their lives affected by it in an artistic way? Probably. So what's the point? Well, I haven't written about it. No one has written the article I'm going to write tomorrow on whatever. It's fine. Do it. You are unique. We are unique. It's okay. There's enough words. So let me see. Angela is Daphne's godmother. Got it. So she's a friend or maybe a relative who is godmother to Daphne. Wonderful. Oh my God, what a beautiful shot of Daphne today, where she's looking up like that with a smile. Beautiful. And Vivienne is my new sister ambassador with whom I connect deeply. Okay, so she's an ambassador, is she? What, ambassador for Greece? That's pretty cool, isn't it? Representing Greece to the rest of the world. Beautiful Greek ladies. I'm not against it. That selfie of yours is before you started drinking the 𝗥𝗚𝗘𝗔𝗧𝗜𝗍𝗓. Eek. I saw you drinking it today and I refused to try it. Why? There's no alcohol in it? What's the problem? Put some ouzo in it. Or red-sina. No, you can't. Oh, Mind Valley ambassador. I thought you were ambassadresses for Greece. Okay, right. Well, good luck. I hope you survive that experience. These are the next 3 photographs. Do you recognize this building? How many times do you think the Eiffel Tower has been photographed? It might have been photographed more times than any other building ever. And I'm a photographer specialized in Paris. So isn't that a challenge? And this is my photographic challenge and my writing challenge, to photograph and maybe even write, but I don't write much about the Eiffel Tower, although I will be soon in a book about metaphors for life through Paris, something like that. My photographic challenge is to photograph the Eiffel Tower every single time I do it, and I want to do it regularly because she's my muse. It has to be different. Has to be different, can never be the same. And I don't just mean vaguely different, completely different. And this one is. And next to that is one of them there. Incredibly beautiful metro entrances. That's my son going down there, bit of personality there. And this is a bollard. And there's a whole row of them in this street. It's wonderful. It's just great. It's in Montmartre, and each bollard is painted in the style of an artist. So this is a picture of Van Gogh in his style. I mean, he did do self-portraits, so it's basically, but they put one eye on the round bit at the top. Isn't that cool? There's a whole street of them. And I chose this one for my photograph. And I managed to not talk about it at all. I was going to write an article about the Bollard, and in the end, I didn't at all. For reasons I'll show you if I'm unhumble enough to say it, because it's not a very humble thing. But anyway, it touched me a lot. So spotlight on the lady this chapter. I'm going to do there's another shot of her coming up soon. Her. Spotlight on the lady this chapter. One of the 1 in 10 where I thankfully don't make an appearance, at least in front of the lens. So 1 in 10 chapters, which is 9 photographs. This is a chapter. Oh, I can't even show you that. I haven't done it yet. Let me just show you quickly. This is a chapter. You see all of this. So this is a chapter. So 1 in 10 chapters doesn't have me. The other 9 have a perturbing self-portrait called Creative Disintegration. You watch me creatively disintegrate over the months and years. It's kind of scary, isn't it? But anyway, it's a way of coming to terms with it, with mortality as well. As writers, I think we have to be a bit sort of morbid, a bit sort of maudlin. Otherwise, you know, what are you going to write about? Hey, I'm so happy the sun rose again today. Next day. Hey, I'm so happy the sun rose again today. Next day. Hey, I'm so happy the sun rose again today. That isn't what it's about. It's about, we've got to write about crappy stuff, you know, shitty stuff, heartbreaking stuff, and maybe how we got through it. But if you haven't got the bad, you can't even write about the good. You know, you could. Yeah. Lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day. I know it's, what is it? It's going to be da, 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 a lovely, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day. Da, da, da. My lovely days are ones where powerful things happen, including bad things, you know, including things which grab me emotionally. That's what a good day is for me. Not a day the sun shines. If it rains, that's a good day. I like the rain. I like the sun as well, but anyway. So what did I say about, I told you about the Eiffel Tower, didn't I? No, I didn't. This view always reminds me of one of those cheesy American films where a couple were on the train across from each other. I don't know if you've seen this film. Daphne just said, I enjoyed the photo of the Bollard, my dear. There's a film. It's one of those cute Americans fall in love, fall out of love, fall in love things in Paris. I like them. And there's one of them where there's a couple on a train across from each other, facing each other, on their way to the south of France or something like that. Quite magically, the Eiffel Tower drifts by the window, just like it is in this shot, because I'm on a train here going over the River Seine. The Eiffel Tower drifts past the window, if I can put it that way. Quite magically, yeah. At some key plot point, I can't say this, pot plant? No, not pot plant, plot point. Oh my God, look at that plot plant. Anyway, magically and miraculously, mind you, because there ain't no Eiffel Tower between the Gare de Lyon and Marseille, which is where you'd have to go to get to the south of France, as far as I know. So that's kind of funny, you know, for us in the know. I usually spend quite a while on each shot, finding a look I like, but not here. I just slotted in the effects I'd used for the last one, and this, and When Lady Eiffel Smiles number 990 are the result. I hope the lady doesn't protest too much. You know, there's an expression, something like, methinks the lady doth protest too much, which is a slightly insinuate. Anyway, she can get a bit funny like that. So there you go. It's another for my Eiffel Tower collection, and I don't take enough of the Eiffel Tower. This is this incredible metro station, and this one is pretty much kind of the history of it. I love the rain, says Despina. I can't stand the rain. She didn't like it either. I love the rain. Oh, then there's another one though. Take me dancing naked in the rain. Black Pearl. I love the rain as long as I don't have to drive back home. Okay. Oh, come on. Rain is romantic. Rain is great for photographs. Rain is wet. Arguably the most beautiful of the Art Nouveau, I say it with an English accent, Art Nouveau metro entrances. Porte de Dauphine regales us, I can never know it's regales or regales us, with twiddly diddly metalwork, gleaming bobbly glass panels a go-go, and, well, more twiddly bits in the decoration going down the stairs, which, thankfully, aren't twiddly. And if you don't know what twiddly means, you should by now. It's fascinating to compare this with its sisters at Abbesse, which was moved from Hôtel de Ville nearly 50 years ago now, and Châtelet, recreated, yes, they're still making them at the turn of the century. The 2000, not 1900, because for a lot of my life, the turn of the century was 1900, and it ain't anymore. Getting old. All three have signature splayed out canopies like this and are known as libellules, as someone thought they somewhat resemble dragonflies. Isn't that beautiful? Dragonfly. There's three words I love in English. I'm teaching this to my kid. Dragonflies, ladybirds, and butterflies. Three beautiful words. They lack the looming red bug-eyed monster lamps of the other classic entrances, however, which are also gorgeous. And twiddly. Twiddly is when, like little curves and turns and things like this, it's all twisted. And you can have twiddly bits in music where they play notes which go twiddly bits. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Bollard. It looks like the throne in the Game of Thrones. Yeah, I don't know the Game of Thrones, but don't be shocked. Can't do everything in life. I'm still struggling to get through Blacklist, and I've started watching Homeland. But I normally find time to do that at about 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm just getting into bed. So, then it ends up being 4 o'clock in the morning, and that doesn't get the twins bath, does it? So this Bollard is pretty cool, actually, as a picture. There he is. Vincent van Gogh, or Van Gogh, the Americans say. Van Gogh, the French say. Don't know what the Greeks say. And a pretty cool photograph with a nice diagonal styling going on there. I'm not feeling that chatty right. This was today. So, this is what I wrote. Don't make excuses for your writing. This is what I wrote. I'm not feeling that chatty right now, but that might change. This was true. I had no idea what to write about except that line, and then I saw what happened. Actually, a heartwarming thing just happened, making me think that maybe all this stuff I put out there actually is of interest to some folks. I'm not starting a pity fest here, but it's not always obvious it's worth anything, although I tell everyone else their stuff is. Anyway, and indulge my small moment of glory. Dorothy, who was a great participant on my first smartphone photography masterclass back in the spring, was replying to a post where I said I was overwhelmed by all my activities. It was crazy, I just listed them, all the things I tried to do. And I'm like in reaction mode almost. But that it had to be better than Netflix binging, right? She replied simply, this is all she wrote, saying, "Your programs are my Netflix." I immediately promoted her to my favorite person of all time and felt smug for the rest of the day. I didn't actually feel smug. I wrote smug, but smug has an element of self-satisfaction. To be honest, it wasn't that. I just thought it felt better in the text. I wasn't smug. I was just very, very touched. And I'm going to ask her if I can use this for promo because, it just sounds so amazing. Your programs are my Netflix. Oh my God, that is so amazing. To think I was going to talk about bug-eyed Vincent Bollards for 100 words, but that was important. I is Scottish for yes. And also it sounds like the word I. There you go. That's it. That's all I've got for you. I'll keep doing this. It's fun talking about words and stuff. And no, thank you, Despina. Dorothy is right. I'm going to ask her. I don't care. I've got to promote myself somehow, so I'm going to ask her if I can use that. Yeah. So, as I say every week, I really want this to be about other people's words as well as mine. But while I'm waiting for it to get going, it'll be me reading my stuff and see what happens. I've decided the writing masterclass, I can't see it being before next year. this time next year, because I feel I've got to get a lot of stuff together to do something that is really, really as good as the photography masterclass for me. But in the spring, starting in January, I've got another masterclass, my third, and that is on creativity. It's not exactly true. You bring a creative project to it. It's a 9-week masterclass. All my masterclasses, they're going to be exactly the same structure, 9 weeks. You bring a creative project to that creativity masterclass, and I don't care what it is, and you finish something amazing by the end of the 9 weeks. The difference is, for one thing, it's not focused on one type of creativity like my photography one, the writing one. It's whatever you want to do, including photography or something if you want. But obviously I've got the masterclass on that. So you bring your photographic project. It's not, you haven't got a clue. No, bring a creative project you want to really go crazy on for 9 weeks. But the masterclass is more about creativity and productivity than your topic, because I don't know what your topic is. So you'll still be producing stuff each week. You'll be sharing it in live webinars. You'll be sharing it with us. You'll be producing something new in your project each week. It's just that I don't know what it is. So, there'll be loads and loads of ways of being more creative, being more productive, bringing deep and meaningful stuff into it. It's going to be fantastic. So I'm planning that for January, exactly the same style as my other masterclasses. And it's a way to start the year great. So at the beginning of January, there will be a 5-day creativity challenge. And then that will lead into the creativity masterclass for 9 weeks. So that's coming up. Okay, so there we go. I can't wait. I'm patient. You're talking about the writing one. Oof, yeah. Well, the words aren't going to go away. I'm sure there'll still be something to write about this time next year. And anyway, we can write about stuff now, can't we, too? So that's it. I'm really happy that 𝗪𝗫𝗠, you were there, and 𝗪𝗫𝗘, you were there. And anyone else who watches the replay, welcome. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And let's go and do some more creating. Maybe you're going to bed now, 𝗪𝗫𝗠, 𝗪𝗫𝗘. Not time for bed yet. You could do something more creative if you like. Why don't you write a poem, 𝗪𝗫𝗘? I'm sure that'd be. I'm sure it would be nice. It'd be a good thing coming from you, because when you write, I see very clever, deep thoughts coming through. So maybe you write poems in Spanish. I don't know, but I'd love to see one. Okay, that's it. Have nice ends of evenings or days, and I'll see you again very soon, everyone. Bye for now.